Hey y'all, I'm Parker.
And I'm Dre.
And this is the Disney Cellar, and this week we're talking character fashion. Get it? It's French.
Hats, people. He means this week is all about Disney character hats.
But before we can get to talking about all of these really cool chapeaus, we got to talk about the elephant mouse in the room first.
And that's the iconic Mickey ears.
Right? Mickey Mouse ears are the original character hat, and thanks to them, today you'll find, well, pretty much everything from
Minnie ears.
the headbands to Goofy, Donald, Daisy, and even Pluto character hats.
And the new Lost Boys hats from Fantasy Springs at Tokyo Disney.
And, well, we don't have any here to show you today, but have y'all seen, like, the giant new poof ball hats? They're like Winnie the Pooh or Chippendale. They first released at Tokyo Disney, but now they're literally everywhere. We were just at the parks this week, and I swear we saw no fewer than 20.
I told him he doesn't need one. His head is plenty big enough already. Look at it. Look.
Thanks. Well, the original Mickey ears were created by Disney legend Roy Williams. Roy Williams, his nickname Moose, was hired to Walt Disney Studios in 1930 at the age of 23 after a chance conversation with, well, okay, the story goes that Roy apparently thought this was like an office assistant or something, but he had a happenstance conversation with Walt Disney himself.
Yep. Roy was hired on the spot and sent on Disney's dime to Chouinard Art School, which today is known as Cal Arts, before he became a Walt Disney Studios in-betweener.
Which, if you don't know what an in-betweener is, please go back and watch our Artist Collection Dolls episode.
And later a full-time animator and story developer.
He was hired to the story department after pitching a sketch about, okay, so Donald Duck swallows a magnet, and then he just starts attracting everything metal around him. Walt realized how quickly Roy could write jokes, especially gags, but not just that, he was also a genuinely funny guy. So when a little-known program called the Mickey Mouse Club was looking to hire a cast, despite no formal acting experience whatsoever, Walt personally asked him to join the ensemble, saying he could be the show's big Mousketeer. Mousketeer. Get it? His nickname was Moose.
Yeah. Roy Williams, when designing the Mickey ear hat, took inspiration from a 1929 Mickey Mouse animated short, The Carnival Kid. Mickey moves to tip his hat to Minnie Mouse, but since he isn't wearing one, tips the whole top of his head instead.
Today, they're found in all shapes, colors, and sizes, from special edition gold ears to these really fun Oswald the Rabbit ones, to Pride and special events, and yes, even the designer collection.
Curated collaborations with companies like Coach and Vera Wang, to actors like Ashley Eckstein, who voiced Ahsoka Tano in the Star Wars Clone Wars and the Rebel series, to these little beauties.
These little beauties? Get it? Because that's what Patrick Warburton calls them in the Soren safety video?
I got it. These were designed by Jared Maruyama.
All right, so since we're saving the Minnie and Mickey ear headbands for a separate episode, that brings us to these.
Character hats.
Later referred to as character fashions in the 1980s. Now, full disclosure, it is increasingly difficult to date most of these, but the first we have to show you are these amazing pieces.
Oh, the bill squeaks. Come on.
So, all evidence points to these at the very least existing from the late 60s all the way to the early 80s. I say the early 80s because, well, these say Happy Birthday Donald Duck, but instead of that, I found ones that say World on Ice, which is the original name for Disney on Ice. But that show didn't premiere until July 14th, 1981 in New Jersey.
We need to go to one. It's on the list.
Agreed. But there are also variants that fittingly enough advertise the Mickey Mouse Club. But the Mickey Mouse Club ran for 4 separate series, the latest from 2017 to 2018. Before that, it was the Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake days from 89 to 94. But before that, it ran both between 55 to 59, which was the original run, which Roy was a member of,
and Disney legend Annette Funicello,
as well as 77 to 79. So that piece of information unfortunately doesn't really help much. However, I did also find a set featuring a green ring here instead of orange. And actually, the materials used on those were different than these. They were made from a mix of wool and rayon. These are 100% polyester. But the owner of those alleged they were from the 1950s. And if you know anything about rayon, which I didn't know before making this video, you'd know rayon was invented in 1905, but gained popularity in manufacturing in the 50s, but it ceased almost altogether by the 70s for, you guessed it, polyester. So maybe this style does indeed date back all the way to Disneyland's opening in 1955, or at the very least, the early 60s.
So all of that to say, if you know any more about these pleas for Parker's sanity and the peace of our household, comment down below.
Sadly, these only seemingly come in kid sizes. But now, these, I don't have a date for either, but they're very similar. However, this one definitely feels a little bit newer. The bill is a bit less refined, the plastic feels more modern, the mesh is sturdier, and though I've found fewer of these online, they're all in generally pretty good condition. Whereas with these, almost all of them universally are not. But one person online did claim that's from 1974, and I find that hard to believe, but I just don't know.
The bill squeaks too.
The bill also squeaks.
Why does Donald get to have all the fancy hats?
Okay, well, Mickey and later Minnie obviously had the iconic Mickey ear hats, but funny enough, for a decent period of Disney history, Donald was actually more popular than Mickey Mouse. This was due to a variety of factors, but namely World War II. Donald was enlisted to join the U.S. Army, so he appeared more often in magazines and cartoon scripts, but also the old Disney adage goes that Donald is who we are. He's a little loud, a little misunderstood, has a short temper. Mickey Mouse is who we aspire to be.
I can see that. You know, the loud part. So what about these guys then?
Okay, well, the word of the day is allegedly, but I've dated these back to about 1986, or at the very least, the late 80s.
These are our favorites.
Yeah, we love these. There's just so much texture and detail to them, from the faux fur to Minnie's Technicolor eyelashes, and even the fabric on Donald's hat, which is like a terry cloth.
There's also a goofy one of these, which we're still getting, but we usually start with the couple since, you know, we're a couple, you guys.
Goofy is coming home soon, though, we promise.
So that more or less brings us to today's hat.
Yeah. From what I found, these here stuck around to about the late 90s, and then the fabric hats we know today were introduced. In the early 2000s, Donald's bill was like a little bit longer, but more or less we're in the all-fabric era now and have been for quite some time.
Which we love.
We do, but when you look back at what came before, they do leave a little something to be desired, and no, this Donald does not squeak.
Everything changed, though, with the opening of Fantasy Springs on June 6, 2024, when Tokyo Disney dropped these Lost Boy character hats.
They have different ones for each of the boys. Toodles, Nibs, Slightly, Curly, the twins, but honestly, these are just so cool.
I need them all, like now.
Yeah, the faux fur is back, but each silhouette feels very, very unique and in keeping with the design of the original characters.
There's also an adorable little embroidered boy on the side of each one.
Yeah, these are just so awesome, and it's honestly no wonder that they went viral.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, that's probably more than enough for one day.
We will be doing another mini headband episode soon, I promise. It's getting there.
Add it to the list.
Yes.
Until then, thank you as always for stopping by. This is the Disney Cellar. I'm Parker.
And I'm Dre.
And we hope you have a magical day.